Welcome, welcome, welcome. Sunday
Yo,
night.
yo, Ryan,
And you know what that means. What? What, Kev?
your camera's as cloudy as your predictions, bro.
Oh, hey. Yeah.
That,
So,
that crystal ball's cloudy, dog. No,
yeah.
sorry.
You know what? Here's just what I think about that.
Just like, fuck it. Just
You know
start.
what I think? Here we go, Kev. Take.
Hey, Ryan has left me. For those who are strictly listening, he just bowed out. He said, "I'm done. I'm out." He said, "Screw it, man." I mean,
Actually, hold on. So, I'll give you a nice segue and just you go from there. So, tell us about who you think the next the commit is. Tell us all about him and how he's going to fit in with the Big Twins and all that.
Then he bounced out again. I was like, I don't know. I get my information from you, dog. So,
it's all good. I'll let you lead the ship since I'm just, I'm Robin here. I'll stay over to the side. I'll let you drive. What's that song called? I'm hanging out the front seat up passenger side of my best friend's ride. I'm just a scrub, right? Scrub is a guy who thinks he's fly. TLC. All right. Yeah. But so what's funny is nobody's going to talk about the last. I've gotten my last two right, but whatever. The football one, everybody will forget about that, Kev, right? They'll just be like, yeah, who cares, man? What about those ones you missed, right?
Right. It's like the same thing I put in that tweet, dude. It's funny is this it's funny because you can only get criticism if you put yourself out there, right? And it's actually, I know people like to crap on Cowherd, but he has an entire segment of where he was wrong, and I actually respect that. Yeah, that's better. Right. But you can't predictions are going to go wrong. You get the information that you have, and you're going to share it with us, and we go from there. And that's that. I stand on this one. I'll never forget it. Brandon Henderson was, I think, committed to Iowa State, and you were like, dude, he's coming to Illinois. And I shared this in other pay sites and on other places, and people were all like, no, he's people who get paid to do this for a living, which you and I do not. And people are like, no, Brandon Henderson's not coming to Illinois. Well, where's Brandon Henderson in Illinois? Like, my dude, you get the goods, you hit a lot of times, sometimes you miss. So let the haters hate. Let the haters hate.
That's right. Hey, I know I do, dude. I don't lose any sleep over it as much as some people think. Me and Kev had a nice little chat off of this, and just as friends. And I told him, man, I know there's a bunch of people who watch this that see me, just taking so much shit. And I get tons of messages from people who are like, bro, like, I'm sorry that you deal with that, And I tell them, I'm like, it just doesn't. I just don't let it faze me as much as people might think, because I might answer. I'm gonna keep it real. 3 of the 100 haters, I might be like, you know what? This guy's been saying shit to me for like 4 weeks straight. I'm gonna say something. So, and that's just the human side of me, man. I'm like, I'm gonna keep my cool, but 3 times out of 100, I might say something to somebody. But it is what it is. So we're gonna get to the football commit. We're obviously going to hit on Big Z committing to join his brother Tomislav, which is huge. And yes, we'll talk a little bit about the misses that Illinois got basketball-wise, a couple of my mispredictions. I'll explain what really was going on, why I picked that, and why they went somewhere else. But then really we're going to focus mostly on who Illinois' next big targets are and, where they're trending with some – with the Final Four, finishing up tomorrow with the championship game. The Illinois staff's going to be working on finalizing the staff, but also with the dead period ending here Wednesday or Thursday, they're setting up Zooms and all kinds of things like that. So, Jason, and I for sure, at least you put it out there. Some of the paid sites won't crystal ball until someone like Alan True puts it in first. So, and the thing is too, and I want everybody to always know this, and I probably won't talk about it again for a long time, but my crystal balls are just educated guesses, people, and they are educated. And I've earned that for 8 years of doing this. But you know what? Some kids, they may say, hey, I'm in, and then they get an offer for $100,000 more 2 hours later. Or they say, he's like, I'm coming to Illinois, and then Illinois is like, but we can't guarantee you a starting spot. And then he's like, well, good, then I'm out. So, and those things happen. And Nathan Jersh, we'll get to that. We'll talk about Will Riley's future. And appreciate you watching Big Mo. Yeah, go ahead, Kev. Anything you want to say before we jump in here?
Yeah, I mean, you and I talked about this offline. You might have put some of this stuff out there. Is that the Creighton was always going to be a draw for Dix, right?
Yep.
But because a lot of people aren't aware of this, and I don't mean to put his personal stuff out there, but he's got an ill mother who is getting medical treatment, and Omaha has some tremendous medical facilities. Omaha is a great medical facility.
Mm-hmm.
They got medical cancer, all the things, and I'm not sure what she has, so I'm not going to care to speculate. But you can do probably the guesses. And Creighton was not going to come to the table with the finances. And then when Illinois and Indiana started getting into it, Creighton said, hey, listen, we're going to come back and we're going to match this, or we're going to get close to it. It only makes sense for a guy to just say, hey, man, it makes more sense for me to be closer to my mom if the money's equal. And he did. And so, to be honest with you, I'm kind of happy for the kid that he gets to stay home, be close to his mom, and play basketball.
Yeah.
When all the people that you know and trust are telling you, yeah, we think we got him.
Yeah,
the crystal ball.
Yeah, and so so for people with the Dix thing, so we can just knock that out quick with Dix and Sellers, and then move on and focus on all who are going to be Illini.
Yeah.
I was told Wednesday, like 2 or 3 o'clock, from a donor. It felt really good. Like, man, they nailed the visit. I know they're talking now about pros and cons with the teams. And this is a guy who told me and telling me I've been getting things right a lot when he gives me info. So if he says, hey, I'm feeling good, and guess what? I double check before I put my crystal ball in. I ask another source who knows his shit. Okay. He's been covering things for a long fucking time. I'm not telling you who it is. It could be 3 or 4 people, but I checked in with him, and you know what he told me, Kev? I heard the same thing from a guy that I really trust. So why would I take that as not being something really good?
Right. Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So anyway, and then with Sellers, well, as good as Illinois was feeling about Dix, guess what I heard about Sellers from the 2 sources that I trust a lot? We're in way better shape with Sellers than we were with Dix. So, as good as you feel about Dix, we're definitely in really good with Sellers. And then I put my crystal ball in. And then come to find out, he didn't tell the staff that he had a problem with the fact that he was going to be a 6th man until the next day. And then all of a sudden, it's, well, actually.
Right.
Oh, no, it's trending the other way. So that's just part of this, Maybe I could have waited another day, but, there's no point for me. When I was told Dix was probably going to announce Wednesday night, why the hell would I wait till the next day? That's not why you put crystal balls in for people. So then there's no point to do it. Anyway. Thanks, Sleeve. Appreciate it. Let's just keep this same vibe, Sleeve, on the Discord. The Discord for people, it's trust me, it's a nice hot spot for things. People like to come on and troll it because they got nothing better to do. But the hot board is where I put all the info I made that for the podcast. Between one podcast to the other, if you can't get your fix, that's what the hot board is. But people like to pop in there and take shots at me and all this other bullshit. And I didn't used to get in there every day. I've tried to now to intermingle and mingle with the people because I appreciate you. But the hot board that I post is the info between podcast to podcast. That's it. That's what it's for. Yeah. So I appreciate all you guys who tune in. So Sleeve, I appreciate you. Just keep that same vibe throughout the week. Instead of, oh, well, you were wrong on this, Mr. 0 for 2. That's what Sleeve was giving me shit. Mr. 0 for 2 during the middle of the week.
I think when you get it from these guys, it's all good, man. They're just probably having some fun with it. So,
okay. Now, with that said, let's start where my last crystal ball for hoops, okay? The last crystal ball for hoops is Kev, we talked about it. Kev, we talked about it yesterday.
Yep.
David Murkovic from Montenegro. And you'd say, okay, what about this guy? It's again, maybe look at a couple links and some highlight reels and people. He's 6'9", 245 pounds, right? He's actually going to be playing in the Nike Hoop Summit on Team World with Illinois target and possible commit Dame Sarr. So you might say people might be questioning his athleticism, Kev, and say, don't like him. He's too slow-footed. Well, let me tell you, they only take the best 12 to 15 players in this class, Kevin, who are not from the United States. Those are the only people who get to play in that Nike Hoop Summit. So if this David Mirkovic is in that, what does that tell you about his game? Do you think that he's got some possibility to pretty damn good?
Yeah, and I watched some tape on him. He's a little like he's not super athletic, but he's got a good stroke. He can put the ball on the deck and cross guys up a little bit and feed guys under the post. He's got some good handles, some good passing, some good basketball instincts. I like it. I like his size. I like his strength, and it should be if Illinois can get him on board, and obviously playing with Dame Sarr should obviously help that connection there. Obviously, dude, there's a lot of Euros on this team. Obviously, now we got Big Z along with Tommy. That helps, dude. And that is vital to like grabbing some of these top level prospects. So I think Mirkovic would be a good ad. I think he's a guy. I think he's a piece. I don't think he's a dude. I think that there's a level of you need a dude there. So.
Well, and Dame Sarr would be that dude. Mm-hmm. So what makes David Mirkovic important to the team is I've looked at highlight reels. I've actually talked to scouts, which Kevin knows this. I talked to European scouts. They're the one who really helped me figure this guy out.
Kasparis before anybody else, actually. So
yeah, so I talked to these same guys because one of them is a Serbian guy, so he knows these guys. So I said, what makes him so appealing? He dominated, though, the U19 competition he was in. I just want everybody to know that. So you look at his numbers, Kevin. He plays for the same team, SC Derby, that Mr. Tomislav Ivicic played for, right? And he actually has better numbers than Tomislav did at his time there. So we're talking about, you think he might not be a dude. I'm not so sure that he isn't a dude.
Well, I think my point being is like this is not the transfer portal. This is not the next recruit, the next transfer portal guy, the next guy that you get that says, "All right, we're back
like
to competing."
Like a Darian Williams or something like that.
Right.
Okay. All right. Just throwing his name out. Just all right. So David Mirkovic is. So here's basically what the staff likes, and what I've been told is that. He's just a matchup nightmare, this Mirkovic. So if you watch him, he's going to be a guy shooting mid to upper 30s from three. He's got a nice stroke, but the fact that he can handle the ball in the post, he has a really good post up game, 6'9", 245. He has a nice fadeaway. But here's another thing. He's got a great passing handle. You watch how many behind the backs to guys cutting.
Yeah.
And think about that when you team that up with the Vicic brothers, because one of them will be playing with him probably at all times. I think Big Z and Big T are going to be swapping the 5 spot probably, and you're going to have a big at all times, Kev, that can shoot a 3.
Right.
And so that's why people are like, "Oh, I don't really like Z, man. He gets bullied in the paint." You're like, well, he's going to put some more weight on, but he still averages 2 blocks a game in 19 minutes. Yep. So I think his tick might be up a minute or two. I think him and his brother might be something similar to 20 to 25, somewhere in there. But so you got that. But Big Z is going to be shooting near 40% from deep. Tomislav 35, whatever. But you've got 3 bigs between the 3 here who can pass, who can shoot, and who are able to have high IQ. But I think with Big Z and Mirkovic, they actually can handle it some. Mirkovic has a nice handle if you watch
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Yep.
Not absolutely. Super fast, but he can go behind the back, through his legs. It's not people. Not Luka Doncic is just on another level, but he's like a power forward version of like Jokic, kind of.
Well,
Jokic plays.
Right. The thing about it is it's a little bit like a little Marcus Damask. Some respects is that he's not super athletic, but he's athletic enough. I watched him cross over a guy at the top of the key, and frankly, I thought that looked like Luka because it didn't look super quick, but he got by his guy, and then he found the guy underneath the basket for a nice little poke there. So I like that. If Illinois is going to be able to nab him down, I think it's nice. I think, like I said, I think it helps with Dame Sarr, but I certainly don't think they're not done. So
No, they're not. We're going to get to it. And here's why people want to know. Well, why did you put your crystal ball in for this guy? Right? I had a bunch of people messaging me. Well, here's why. So they have the same agent as the Avicic brothers, Mr. Mirkovic, the same agent, and also the Avicic brothers and him know each other very well. They've just came from the same team just a year or two ago, and they've known him, and they actually get along very well. And it's more than just, oh, well, he was our teammate. Like, they're pretty good friends with this guy. So this is like a big kind of circle here of like, and then the scouts told me he is probably within the top 5 players coming from Europe to the NCAA to play next year.
Right.
So, I mean, you don't get much better than that. Illinois is going to continue to shoot threes. They do want to get better defensively heading into next year, but this guy fits. And also, he's a very crafty rebounder, Kev. I don't know if you've seen his highlights. He's not super athletic, but he uses his body well and his instincts. And I watched several rebounds where he was able to position himself over bigger men and longer arms and able to gather rebounds in. So, and yes, Colin, the Nike Hoop Summit will be available to watch next weekend. It's on the Saturday, the 12th, from Portland, Oregon. It's usually on like the FS1 or something like that. So we'll get it. What's up, Big Reese? What's up, Big Reese? And also, if Illinois does happen to land him, which I put my crystal ball in, so I do expect them to. Not a guarantee, but I expect them to. That we're going to call him Big Merc, by the way. That's what it is.
You're murking fools.
Yeah, you be murking them. Reese, if you're starting fights on my behalf, Big Reese, I appreciate you, Big Thirsty. I need to buy you a cold one, brother. So we're going to go to Big Z now from Nate Fletch. We'll just talk about this, Kev. What is it to you that makes it, an appealing and just like, obviously it's cool, but what do you think Big Z does? The fact that Illinois is able to reunite the brothers, but what do you think he can help Illinois do next year?
Well, first of all, I think that he's a little bit different than Tommy. I think he's a little more athletic, and I think he's not nearly as strong. You watch, there's some highlights where he's actually taken a sidestep and knocked down a three. He's a little longer, probably a little better shot blocker. I think I like Tommy's overall game a little bit better, but I also see where where we lost Tommy last year and the offense kind of went like really haywire because so much ran through him. I think you've got an opportunity where you could sit Tommy a little bit. I think Tommy was gassed in the Kentucky game. I think you got an opportunity to play him some more healthier minutes, like where he's fresh, and I think he'll be better. I think he'll play well there. I think you got some opportunities to play the two of them together. It'll be interesting. I know that Brad is not a zone guy, but maybe you run a little bit of work some of that in with the opportunity of playing two of these guys, so you're not actually putting one of them on a 4, but you could do it where it's a 4 who doesn't shoot well. I do think some time with Fletch for both of them. Another year for Fletch for Tommy, a year for Fletch with Big Z will help both of them. It's a good get. He's a good player, man. He's had really good moments. He has some all or nothing moments. I think he was used at Kentucky better. I think Illinois will do that. I don't understand why he was used at Kentucky better. It's the same coaching staff. So we'll figure that out.
So I will say, what's up, B-Zen? And yes, revenue sharing Steve Nash coming into effect tomorrow can make things interesting. I think there's a court hearing or something tomorrow. I forget, was it Title 10? I don't know, whatever. We'll get into that. But I think, if you look at some of his big games, Kevin, too, Z, they were against elite
Alabama.
teams.
Yeah, 27 against Alabama.
Yeah, so and I'm not going to say Illinois was elite, but Illinois was a good team, and he had a really good game against Illinois. He had a really good game against Alabama. He torched Texas a few times. He had a good game against Missouri, and then there was one other game. I don't think it was Auburn, but
LSU.
Yeah, he had some other mid 20-point games where he went off and beat some good teams that made the NCAA tournament. So to sit back here and think like, well, he only averaged this and blah blah blah. Dude, anybody who can go off for that many points that many times, I think, shows you in a system that more fits his. Here's the thing with Calipari. Calipari this year with Arkansas wasn't going to run anything through their bigs. Like it was all
Right.
DJ Wagner and Boogie Fland when Boogie Fland was there.
And Adu Thero when he was playing. So
Yeah. And so when they wanted a big man who could bang in the post, not a stretch five. So, yeah, big TMZ. I like it. big T, big M, and big Z, big TMZ.
yeah, that's right.
That's fucking hilarious. Dude, St. Dominic Rosary, can someone buy this man a drink? He's going off tonight.
Well, I really want to know what the city of Chicago's done for Illinois for 20 years. Like, we fought and clawed and did everything we could and never got kids to come here in the first place. So, like, acquiescing to the Chicagos of the world, I'm actually glad that Brad Underwood has given them a big middle finger. I really don't care. And furthermore, nobody stays and plays in Chicago anymore anyway. If the players that you want, they end up at prep school. They end up at Compass or LaLu or Verde or IMG. They don't stay in Chicago anymore anyway, so it really doesn't freaking matter. So I really don't care. So, and if people want to jump off the Illinois basketball train now while we've gone to the most consecutive tournaments since 20 plus years, fair enough. Go ahead. If you want to be more bullish on football, that's cool. We haven't been to back-to-back bowl games in a long time. Now, granted, I think we are this year. So whatever, dude. Like it's modern college basketball. 25% of players are in the portal. Right? Tim Anderson didn't understand what Morez Johnson was doing. He was pissed off of the way family handled that situation. So whatever. Let's move on.
Yeah. I mean, and here's the thing. I think it's all about how you win to win. It's not if you've seen Brad Underwood adapts and he changes, and he's changed him. He's like a chameleon at Illinois. Right. He's had to change his skin color a few different times to win, and he's done that. Think about when he first came to Illinois. Remember the whole pressure defense? Remember that's what he was like, creating all those turnovers by just putting pressure, jumping passing lanes. He figured out that wasn't going to work at Illinois. At the Big
Ten. He did it at Oklahoma State. They started off 0-6 in conference play, and then turned into like they made the tournament and had one of the most efficient offenses in the country. So,
we'll get.
Yeah, I agree with Mike Mulberry too. Like it's just one of those things. Like Illinois spending all its time and efforts and focusing on the Chicago area kids gave us the last years of Weber and the first years of Gross. You can't do it. Would we absolutely, dude? There's some great kids in the 2027 class. You better believe Illinois is on those guys. They're working those guys.
Lincoln Williams is a 2026 kid from Kankakee.
They're on that.
Illinois likes
him. Carpet for him. Yeah.
So, and just real quick, Corey Allen from the women's team is transferring. She definitely got recruited over because they've got girls twice as good that look like they want to come or transfer in. But she was a good player. But I think Shauna Green is not trying to necessarily. Remember, she didn't recruit all the seniors and stuff that just left. There's nothing wrong with an Adelia McKenzie type of game, but Corey Allen resembles that. But she's a lot shorter than her too. So I think she's wanting more girls that can spread the floor a little bit, and that's okay though. That's not a lot of there's not a lot of transition from the women's program of girls wanting out. There's a lot of really good young players. Dolan, Hager from Mississippi State transfer, and then of course Barry Wallace. So there's a lot of good young players, building a great program with Shauna Green. Now the next player, so we got the Twin Towers, we got big TMZ Merkovich, who I'm expecting to could very easily be the next commit. Not going to say it's going to be tomorrow morning, but I'm thinking they're before the World Hoop Summit. So they're got a Zoom with Malik Moore, Kev.
I like his game.
Malik Moore from Montana. He had a nice game against Wisconsin in the NCAA tournament just a couple weeks ago. He's 6'5", shoots 41% from three, 4.5, 5 rebounds a game. He's a good rebounder. He's a guy, a veteran presence, with nice size who can make open shots, who can help them rebound, offensive rebound. That's what they want. And they need another veteran guard in there. So they're looking to fill a Dame Sarr type. So they're going to keep a spot open for Dame. They want another guard wing like a Malik Moore.
Yep.
They're looking for another like a guard to help handle the ball. So veteran point, kind of like a Justin Harmon type role. And then Merkovic would fill one. And then if there's a guy like a Darion Williams, there. So there's plenty of room because it sounds like it's going to be 15 guys, Kev.
Yeah.
15.
Well, the Darion Williams thing, I mean, everybody and their mama's going to line up for that. So that he goes with Yaxel Lindenberg going to Michigan, he becomes 1A, 1B, 1C. Same with like that Xavier Lee kid from guard from Princeton. Everybody's going to want some of that. So those guys are going to really. I mean, those guys.
For Illinois, though, let's say Kasparis is going to go. Right. That's $2-3 million between him and Riley that frees up. So we're going to get to Riley in a minute. But if Riley doesn't come back, their two biggest dollar players last year, Kev, are gone.
Yep.
So then you got the rev shoe money coming in soon. So there's going to be money for Illinois to spend. But, yes, that's going to be one that Illinois wouldn't win until mid to late May, as early as possible. Let's see here. Guyton. If Illinois gets A.J. Guyton's daughter, which I think Aaliyah, that'd be great. I think Nathan Sleeve. Remember what I told Sleeve in the Discord? He's on here trying to recruit people. He's on here, so DM me. He said he didn't do that. I'm gonna get you. But anyway. So Malik Moore from Montana is getting a Zoom, and of course they've got, I've talked to a few people like a mystery power forward from the transfer portal that nobody can talk about yet. So
here's a name that's been talked about, and I think people think it's dead in the water, and I don't think it is. AJ Storr. I don't think it's dead in the water.
You don't?
Nope.
I know this. This is what I'm going to say.
I think AJ Storr is going to have – AJ Storr is talking to Illinois. Illinois is not talking to AJ Storr.
Yes. So AJ Storr and his mom want to come to Illinois. They want Illinois. Sounds like Kansas is trashing them.
Yes.
Illinois just got done with the DGL experience, which they enjoyed Dre Gibbs Lawhorn. Don't think they enjoyed the experience from the parents, though.
Yep.
I'm talking about Ben Gibbs included, not just his mother.
Right.
And they're not wanting to go down that road again. And their main reason AJ Storr didn't come last year was because of his mother. The coaching staff didn't want to deal with her because they had a set agreement on a price and he was going to come. And then she bitched to try to get more. And they were like, nope, we're not doing that. So
the guy was second team All Big Ten last season. So
yeah,
as a sophomore,
it definitely got the game. I just think it's more of if it boils down to Dame Sarr, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You put your chips in that basket. So Wesley Yates entered the portal. That's
sounds like a Kentucky lean right now.
Kentucky/NBA. I think he's got an NBA game. I really like his game. I think the kid's really good. He passed.
Think about that, Kev. How good was the freshman Big Ten team when Wesley Yates wasn't even on it?
Right. He passed Desmond Claude as the best player on that team about midway through. So, it's just going to play out. There's dudes that are out there. Illinois will get a dude. Right. And
they're going to get a couple dudes, Kev.
Yeah. What the thing that you look at right now is, by all means, it certainly sounds like Humrickhouse is staying. Sounds like Jake Davis is staying. So you got some bench pieces. You got Ty Rodgers, the Avicic brothers, Kylan Boswell. Like, you have a core to work off of where you can start now. If Merkovich comes, now you're really looking for a dude. That's where we get Merkovich in. Now it's really like, get your chips in line, get all the money in line. And listen, I'm going to say this. I don't think this is going to sound like I'm dogging the kid, but I'm not. I'm really not. I don't think that Will Riley is going to perform that well at the combine. And here's the reason for it is when I look at what he did against athletic teams, and it's like athletic teams with size like Kentucky, that's the kind of guys he's going to be going up against in the camp. And I think there's going to be a need for him to work physically. And he is going, and I think that might drop some of his stock. And they're with the Title IX ruling tomorrow, rev sharing, all that coming in, there might be the Brinks truck that could say, hey, do you want to take a $2.5 million deal being drafted 27th like Terrence Shannon, or do you want to come back? And furthermore, we also saw what happened to Terrence Shannon. He went to a team with a big roster, a loaded roster, and he doesn't see the floor. It'll be interesting. So I think he needs to work on some strength and some athleticism. I think he needs to work on handling the ball better, more, and being a facilitator. I think he could do that coming back to Illinois. I think there's a slight chance he ends up back at Illinois next year.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought this up because that was one of the next topic I wanted to bring up. So I agree with that slight chance,
right.
but I'm going to say this. If someone, Kev, were to say, right now, Kev, you got to put money on him returning or going pro, what you doing?
Pro.
Okay. And I'm putting heavy money on that. So, but there's always a slim chance, and I'm not saying 1%. I would give it 10% right now. So I think 90-10 Riley goes pro. He's looking between 15 to 22 on most mocks. Some are even inside 15. Just depends on what you're looking at. And that's, again, we talked about, that's around $4 million a year.
Right.
If he's inside the 23. So that's just dumb. Like, Illinois is not going to give him $4 million.
No, but if you look at what, like Steve Nash talked about it, if you look at the combine numbers that he had last year in an event that he and Kasparis both took part in, and Kasparis had a better vertical than he did. And I don't think anybody's sitting here going Kasparis is a super athletic guy. So, and Will doesn't have the longest wingspan. I'm like, when you look at a guy like Will Riley, if I'm an NBA scout and I see the negative things athletically, I'm like, okay, well, you shot 45. You shot like Kobe Bray then from three. No, he didn't. He didn't. He was fairly inconsistent as a 3-point shooter. He had some great moments. We love the kid. Love to have him back. And I'm not trashing him to like not what I say freaking matters. But I think there's a big opportunity. He could be back. So not big, but I think there's a slight opportunity. He could be back.
Sleeve, you heard the man here. If I told him to put money on what Will's going to do, he's going to put money on him going pro. And so here's why I think he's going pro. It's not just because of the people I talk to that tell me that. It's, did he get worse as the season ended, or did he blossom as he got playing time?
He got a lot better.
He got a lot better. And so to me, that's not just going to stop because the season ended, So you're going to go into that combine, and then the mind of a scout. So I tried talking to the guys that talk to the scouts, like, what are they looking for? They're not, well, like, oh, it's potential. Like, well, what is potential to them? 2-3 years down the road, but you saw how quickly Will got better within like a month, so that's just rapid. It was rapid. And they're saying, well, look how good this guy got in a month when he really got to play a lot and was healthy, not sick. And then think about the strength and conditioning and think the muscle he's going to put on.
Well, how much are you going to play when you're the 22nd draft pick? Or you're going to a playoff team?
Well, it depends. Every team, it just depends though. Every team's different. But also too, you think about they think they're going to develop him better than Illinois would. Okay. So you get into their system, we are going to develop you at a higher clip, a higher rate than you are in college. That's the NBA. That's how they think. So, well, if he goes back one more year, he may develop and be better. But if he was here with us already, he would be twice as good.
I disagree. I disagree with that sentiment. I really do. I don't think that's accurate. I think there's some levels to practice, but I think that, dude, when you get to the NBA, like, you got a trainer, you got nutritionists, you got the things, but like, it's not.
Even if he goes to the G League, though, Kev, who's he going to be playing against? He's going to be playing against really good dudes. There's some really fucking good dudes in that G League.
There's not a lot of guys who end up going to the G League that do much, dude.
But I'm saying he's not going to – he wouldn't – if you get drafted 22nd, he's not going to start in the G League. But he might go do some stints there. But my point is who he's playing against, there's tons of all Big Ten or all whatever guys.
I agree. I think that there's also a level of the G League where Terrence Shannon was scoring 40 a game, and then what? I don't know.
Then he got a chance to play in the NBA, and he was scoring 25.
Well, when he played, yeah.
Yeah.
I think here's the crux of the situation. The question that's coming up a lot. I think Dame Sarr has positioned himself in such a way that he is done with his previous professional team, so he is pretty much locked into college or going to the NBA. If Dame Sarr decides to commit to Illinois before seeing it through to the NBA draft, I think there's a chance you could timing and get both Will Riley and Dame Sarr on a team. I don't think that's what Dame Sarr necessarily wants, but I think it might be. You might get to a point where it's a little bit too late for that. So,
and that's been a big question, Kevin. People on the Discord or whatever messaging me on X, like, why don't they want to play together? And you know what? I was never told why, but I don't think Dame said I won't. It's more of like it was like an expected thing. Like, I'm still waiting for Will Riley to go to declare.
Right.
I think he's going to declare to leave himself an option to come back. I believe he's going to do that. So there's people out there thinking, oh, he could transfer. He's not going to transfer, in my opinion. It's either he goes pro or comes back. With Dame, I've been told from European people he's expected. They're all, the agent and all his agent, KJ's agent. They're just basically expecting Riley's going to declare, right? And then Sarr could be right after the Hoop Summit. If he doesn't go off, like if he's the MVP of the Hoop Summit, Dame Sarr is blowing up. He's getting an NBA Combine invite. If he plays good, he might get a G League invite. If he plays okay, probably not getting either. So that's how that goes there. And Kev, you're spot on with Dame Sarr. It's either Illinois or he's going to the NBA.
Yep.
And some people think, oh, Duke. I get people messaging me that Duke's involved. Duke's involved. Kev, what'd you hear about Duke being involved?
I've heard that's not an issue right now. So,
yeah, not an issue. And the people who are very sure, they think, oh, it's Duke. That's no way it's going to happen. So, Dame has proven though the last month that he's a grown man at 18. He'll be 19 in June. If you watch some of his highlights, he's going against his teammates. What? Thomas Satoransky, right? Jabari Parker.
He's ridiculous. He's ridiculously long, an athletic freak. I would love to have him because I think we need to up the athletic profile. When you start talking about the guys that we have coming back and returning, there's a big lack in athleticism. We have some with Kylan Boswell. It's probably more of a strength thing. The team needs to get more athletic. I think the guy from Montana could add some of that. That's where I like Dame Sarr in that. I think Illinois will try and find some more athleticism along with it. So.
And I'm glad you guys are all having your own dialogue in the chat. I think they're enjoying it. I love it. That's great. We appreciate you guys. All I ask of you guys who watch, if you don't, subscribe to our YouTube channel. You all. Like, I don't know if people are allergic to it. They love to watch it on X. They love to listen to it on Spotify. They love to listen to it on Apple Podcasts. But for some reason, the people who watch this just will not subscribe on that YouTube channel. I don't know. But it's there. We're growing it slowly. I think at this rate, Kev, maybe next year we'll get to 1,000.
Maybe they can subscribe to my YouTube channel and get some sales and leadership advice on a daily basis. I don't know. I'll do that.
Exactly. You could do the double decker, man. You can do both. He'll teach you how to sell. He can teach you to sell shoes, man. Holy shoes, anyone?
Right.
Look at this. $5 Tommy. Sarr is a lock to Duke. He wants to go to a school that can get to a final. That's a shot at Illinois right there. That's all that is.
No, Tommy's a troll. He's got his 2 cents to add. That's okay. Cool. So,
yeah. All right. So, real quick before we get to final thoughts, we'll get to football, Kev. Right? We'll talk football.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I'll tell you this: there's no denying that Brett Bielema has Illinois ascending in the Big Ten. They're not flatlining. They're not dropping down, and especially with recruiting, we could say this. Well, why do you say that? A blind squirrel gets a nut, right? Once in a while, you got a 10-win season. Okay, when was you had one? What, 20 years ago? 20 years ago? Well, look at who's returning.
Yep.
And look at how their recruiting is going.
Yes.
To me, that spells that people believe in the program. Kev. I'll let you jump into that, and then I'll get to the recruit they just got. The
Well, I
Believe
think
football program.
Yeah, I think that when you look at some of the coaching staff that he's building around, I think these guys are probably elite recruiters. I think it started last year with Step. Obviously, it started before that with Aaron Henry. Anybody who's spent any time around him knows the guy can sell ice to an Eskimo. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but I just did. And then you're starting to add guys like Terry Hawthorne and James White, and there's just a lot of really high talented coaches on this roster that are bringing in players. And when you grab a 4-star running back that was considering Alabama from Florida, the 2026 kid, that is unbelievable, man. That is fantastic. And I'm hoping for some more good information maybe tomorrow, Ryan, so we're just knocking on wood there. So
more good information, huh? Is that could that be a dual sport athlete?
we certainly hope so.
Yeah, so I'll give it this here. I saw a stat about Brett Bielema's hold on a second. Brett Bielema's who the recruits at Illinois. Long story short, I don't have to dig in my phone to look at it. I'll tell you. I keep it right here. So Illinois has beaten the likes of, here we go, Alabama, Michigan, Oregon, Ohio State, Iowa, Iowa State, Kansas State, Missouri, Oklahoma, Florida State, for all of these for the 2026 recruiting class. Okay, Penn State. That's who Illinois is beating there. So if they don't pick Illinois, who is their next best offer? I just gave you the list.
Right.
Alabama, Michigan, Iowa State, Iowa, Nebraska, Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, Missouri, Oklahoma. That's who Illinois is beating for in recruiting battles here, people. And it's not, well, those guys, that was just, they offered the kids, but they were just kind of second fiddle. They really didn't want them. Wrong. So I will tell you this. Ohio State didn't want Cam Thomas, correct, because they're idiots. But you know what? They did want Vic Singleton, and they didn't get him, and they couldn't believe it. But guess what? Penn State and Michigan wanted Cam Thomas. And they're working on J.C. Anderson and Nasir Rankin, who has Notre Dame, Penn State, Oregon. They keep going. So Illinois is beating the who's who to get these kids. And so the next one in line here, Kev, who just decided to jump on the Illini bus here, and who's a hell of a kid. He's from Florida. I would say this is, it's Thad Ward. I think this is a bell cow Thad Ward recruit here who he should be able to hang his hat on because more importantly, it's his group, but it's from Florida. This kid had Alabama offers, but Javari Barnett, who is transferring to Tampa Tech down there, 5'11" and a half, 205 pounds. Kev, have you watched some of his film?
Yeah, really impressive. Big kid, got a little burst, a little wiggle to him. Got some great top end speed. Doesn't really get caught. It's just when you start talking about who you're beating for kids like this, another top overall 500 kid. Guys, we went classes without getting top 500 kids, and now we're at 26 classes just loaded with them. So it's impressive.
So and sounds like this will be the only football running back they're going to take in 2026. So
well, I would assume that's probably a guarantee.
And I know Kev, you had some good analysis where you're like, this guy's going to start his freshman year. Well, you're like, well, he's going to be battling junior Khalil Valentine, senior Aiden Lawfrey, and possible senior Caden Fagan. So I don't know.
Not to mention the two or three backs we got coming in this class that are pretty darn talented too. So I think it's one of the biggest differences between football and basketball is like you get a kid here, and Javari Barnett's or Victor Singleton's the highest rated kid in the class. Victor Singleton might start as a freshman, like when you get like a 5-star kid in basketball, he's starting. So yeah, that's one of those things where it's just such a different mindset in football compared to basketball. Where guys
Lamp, is Brett B assembling a wagon? Yes.
Yeah, he is.
It's exciting, man. So, and yes, by the way, Taiwan Cox is fast, right, Kev?
Oh yeah, and a great kid. Got a chance to talk to him when I was down in Orlando. Saw
He
Torrey
beat
Senior.
an Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah, he was flying, dude. And it was so funny as I didn't know who was who when I saw the Twitter video. And I'm like, wait a second. That big kid, that's the football player. And sure enough it was. And he was trucking that last 50 yards, man. It was impressive.
Anytime you can beat a gold medalist at anything, you should be pretty fast. So remember what fans are wanting. Illinois is too slow, man. They need to add some speed. Well, I think Illinois got some speed. They're adding speed. He's not the only one, but they're adding some speed.
Faster, longer than his brother. So,
oh yeah, Torrey Cox is 5'8" on a good day. Makes me feel tall, but he's nastier than all get out, and I'm so glad to have him back one more year. So
suffering a $2 stake. So, and then obviously, I think Ryan, you think we're still in really good shape with the Nasir ranking? You expect you on commit watch?
So it's interesting. So to the public, it sounds like oh, he's going to take all his visits. Maybe he will. He's gonna announce his decision in the summer. I am confident as hell, no matter what happens, Nasir Rankin's going to pick Illinois. I've already got my crystal ball for him, Kev. Just so everybody knows. Like, oh, you didn't put a crystal ball. I've already had a crystal ball in for him. I had a crystal ball in for him in like January. So I would say this, if he doesn't commit this week at some point, but I think he's supposed to go on it. He has another official set for next week. But I know Illinois would really love to get that out this week, just if he's all 100% bought in. I think the fact that Illinois offered him that basketball scholarship too. I will say this, at least one season Nasir Rankin in January is going to go get to play for Brad Underwood. He's going to be on the bench. He's going to probably get to play when they're up by 20 and go do some dunking and fun stuff like we used to see with Walter Young, right? We talked about it last week. So, and that's probably going to be a dream. You get to go play D1 ball, go play. And that's just like cherry on top here, like for a kid who's going to go be a pro someday, play in the NFL. So let's see. Ryan, you and like 3 others have crystal balls for Nasir.
Yep.
And there's a reason for that. Okay. I don't want to ever take a crystal ball because someone else puts one. I want you all to know that. I don't take pride in like, oh, those people did it, so I do it. I like to be first on it, but if I know someone's coming, I don't care if Jeremy Warner already did it or not. I'm going to put one in. I'm not just going to put one in because Jeremy Warner did it, because he's not perfect either. So things happen. Real quick, Kev, we'll look at this, what Lucas has to say here, and we'll go to our final thoughts here.
I'd definitely be interested in him. I haven't heard any connection to Illinois. That's the only thing is like I think he's a pretty athletic player. Muhammad Diabate from Alabama. Yeah, he was a like top 50 recruit. I mean, kid can play. I just don't know if there's any connection to Illinois. A lot of times these things are challenging. Like, do you have relationships with the staff? So.
Yeah, I try to, Brandon. Thank you. Again, before we get to final thoughts, because I won't make it my final thought, please subscribe on YouTube. We appreciate it. I saw a couple people have already subscribed because I'm asking. Some people don't do YouTube. That's okay. But we're trying to build that channel so we can put those annoying ads in the middle of our episodes. Come on. Because those ads can throw a couple $dollars his way. So I can keep him on staff, man. He's we have a low budget at the moment. So let's go to final thoughts. Kev, I'll let you start off. I'm sure you might have something you've been thinking about maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Illinois golf team won a tournament a couple weeks ago, and then they followed it up this week. They were in Augusta. So they won the Memphis Intercollegiate. That was just a week or so ago. And then this week they were at the Alaska Awards Invitational. They finished third. It was a really good showing. Finishing third in this event was pretty nice because they were beat by Oklahoma State and Texas, 2 top 10 teams. Max Henredine showed really well, finished second overall. So there was a point in the season where I'm like, man, what are they doing? What's going on? Is this going to be a year where we're not, an NCAA, like a viable NCAA Final 8 team? I think they showed this week they're going to be right there when it all comes down. Max Henry really stepping up, some of the other young guys. So it should be a fun, exciting next month and a half of Illini golf. The most consistent, successful program, athletic program that we have at Illinois. And Mike Small continues to do it again. So excited for those guys.
Yeah. And so a lot of good things. Hold on, what we got here?
Nate, they're saying I should pay you. Nate and I, man, we work in the same industry, bro. Like, come on, man.
Hey, Kev, I'll be honest though. My friendship, I don't want Kev to tear up here because me and Kev have some beautiful conversations, even though we're both manly men. Kev, I wouldn't trade a single dollar to lose my friendship with Kevin Ducey. So you couldn't pay me enough. You could put a blank check, dude. I'd rip it up. Maybe seven figures might change that, but no, just kidding. There's no NIL for podcasting.
Hey, I got one question. Do you know anything about my Sean Johnson Cook? That's a good question there. He's going into his junior year down in Texas, right?
Yeah, he actually played his freshman season at Decatur MacArthur, where I graduated. So
right.
I got to see his elite speed in firsthand. And what's wild is watching a 14-year-old just treat 18-year-olds like they don't exist is almost just kind of weird. It's almost like, but yeah, so he's just on another level. He's going to have all the best of the best. I think he still has love for Illinois, but the money talks. And I know Illinois' NIL is like middle of Big Ten, if not lower right now. And I think he may give Illinois a courtesy visit just to show love and respect and keep that love and the hype of the program up. Like, why would my Sean Johnson Cook go visit Illinois? It's because he loved the staff who had already reached out to him. He was from Central Illinois. But yeah, I actually messaged him a few weeks ago, and he told me he didn't know if he was going to be taking any trips there after his sophomore season, but that may happen after his junior season. We'll see. So that's
he's a guy who will top 10 running back in the country prospect in that class. So
yeah, so you're going to have every SEC school offer him. You're going to have Ohio State offering him. He's going to be making probably between $1 to $2.5 million his freshman year. Probably close to like what Jeremiah Smith type money. So dude's going to be really good. So I don't know if Illinois can give him that, but in Brandon, yes, I will send the link. Just actually, if you guys want the Discord link, just DM me. I'll send it to you. All right. So really quick, my final thought is, as I alluded with Kev, I genuinely appreciate all the people who have followed me and have followed me all these years, who respect me, who care that what I have to say, because you guys' opinions and things matter to me. I don't care about the haters that like to hate, but you guys who send me some kind messages, Kev, what you sent me, I have about a handful of people who send me stuff like that every month. And I've got people on here who always to try to defend me, but the stuff that people will say to me, just makes you feel good that you got people that genuinely care about your well-being when you see such just vile stuff said to you. But you got to have thick skin if you're going to be on social media. And thankfully, I do have that. So I just wanted to give a shout out because there's too many people to say that about that who have just sent me in words of encouragement. And that goes on the Discord. That means on X. That could be on YouTube. That could be in a text message. Jay Bagan is a good friend who's always there to tell me like, hey, man, no matter what anybody says, dude, you do a great job. And we appreciate you. So I give a salute to all the people, Nate Durst, who've always been there, who behind my back, who, just make the little bit of the negativity that might bother you some doesn't phase you. So I appreciate you guys. And that's my final word.
Right on.
All right. Yeah, go ahead, Ken.
Yeah, and I don't mean to step on your final one because it's much more important than mine, but just a little context. Illinois, Max Henry finished tied for first with David Ford from North Carolina. He lost in a playoff. Ford is one of like the top 5 golfers in college golf. Illinois beat North Carolina. They're a top 10 team. They're number 8. They finished right behind Texas and Oklahoma State, who are 2 and 4 in the rankings. So this was a hell of a field. Illinois took third, was right there in it. So if you like college golf, just it's worth paying attention to where these men are at. They're coming on strong at the right time. So I love you,
SDR, I appreciate that. The best
Always,
University of Illinois podcast. Hey, look, just when we thought you just reel us back in, man. Look
Send that super chat, bro.
Yeah, we're gonna get. Hey, we might start doing that, Kev. We might have to get a super chat going. Yeah.
Hey man, $5 Tommy will tell us we could charge 2 cents, man, for our 1AA school. So
Sean Garner, Aaliyah Guyton. That's what I got.
Aaliyah Guyton for sure. We got to be in a great spot there. She barely chose Iowa over us when she went there. So Peoria
All right.
kid, I don't think there's a lot of Indiana love there, but we'll see.
Even though Kev's jumps in once a week, I try my best every day. Discord, that between podcast to podcast, anything new I post on the hot board, direct message me. I will post a link there. Other than that, swap me out.